Podcast with Ron Ewens.
Oh, for flip's sake. We're recording you, Yep. Yeah, so welcome along to today's podcast, which is actually a great follow-up to last week's podcast, because last week we had Lawrence John in, and the founder of Energy 106, and today we have one of the original DJs and still going strong today, 25 years, Stevie B.
Coming on 30.
Coming on 30 years.
30-ish year.
Is this how long you've been DJing, or the energy thing?
How long I've been DJing? I was in the entertainment before that. Started off, do you want me to go right back to the start?
Yeah, if you want, that'd be probably bad. I know did you play in a band or something?
Played in bands. Started off when I was 17 playing guitar in a band. Progressed on to singing in bands. Believe it or not, sang in a rock band.
All right.
For many a year. Moved on, had a wee dance band, and the dance band, funny enough, was called NRG.
All right.
Had that band for a few years, and then...
Did you do original stuff, or
no,
was it
all
just
covers.
Covers?
All covers.
Kind of like fusion or whatever?
Very like fusion, yeah. Same sort of style. Done well. A few years we're playing that, and actually just got a wee bit fed up with it.
Yeah.
Was out one night playing actually in the Crumbling Star. Couple of speakers blew up, realised I was making no money the night. Watched this DJ walk in, box of records, opened it up, played, 2 hours, got his money, walked out. I thought, I want this.
That's the worst. And it takes you all day setting up and moving gear and flipping.
Setting it up,
down.
doing your gig, and then you had that joy of having to pack it all up again into the van a couple of hours later getting home.
A band, you have to split it with 3 or 4 people as well.
Yep, and you're walking away with 50p. It was great.
Another guy in the studio, we used to work down Mickey's studio, Chris. They went to 8-hour journeys in the back of a van with all the stuff, and they only ended up with £100 each. Like, and it was
that was good. If I had got £100 back then, I'd have been doing well.
So we'll go back as you said, and then where did you grow up and stuff?
Originally grew up, was born in Shankill.
Yeah.
Was there till I was about 10 or 11, and then my family moved out to Glengormley. Lived in Glengormley most of the years. Moved over to England when I was 19, 20. Lived over in Yeovil and Somerset for a few years. Came back here, and then that's whenever I started into the bands and the DJing.
So were you even interested in music up until then, or?
Was always interested in music. In music. Didn't know what way or what path I was going to take. Loved the guitar. The singing was something that I never ever thought I would have got into. But the girl that we had, the female singer, we didn't actually know that she was so far gone pregnant one night, and halfway through the gig I had to take over.
No, she didn't. So go into labour,
and halfway in the break, yep. So the guy came on, he says, when he's going on, I says, well, our singer's just left in an ambulance.
How far dilated are you?
He says, well, there's 200 punters in there waiting on another hours of music, so he started singing. So that was basically how I had my introduction into singing.
In the deep end,
in at the deep end.
Had you been practicing singing before? Or did you just go off?
And I only knew the words to about 4 of the songs in the second half, so I had to do extended versions of them just to get through that last hour. But
oh, Jesus.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. I moved to England, came back, moved to Carrick. Still down in Carrick at the moment, but as I said, decided then to move on to the DJing. So back then, no YouTube, no videos to watch how to do it.
What sort of year was this, would you say?
This was 93.
This is just when the raves sort of kicked off.
It was just late 92, 93. So I took myself off, bought a set of cheap decks, locked myself in the bedroom.
What kind of decks were they?
I can't even remember the name of them now. But like I said, it was 250 quid for 2 decks and a mixer in Aston Audio.
Was it Sound Labs?
It was Sound Labs. Don't tell me you had them yourself.
No, they were the go-to decks whenever you were like just starting out, weren't they? Like
held together with a big elastic band.
Yeah, right. The belt drive.
But the good thing about those was if you learnt to mix in them,
you
could mix in anything.
Superstar. Yeah, they were a nightmare, weren't they?
Very bad. But everybody had to start somewhere.
That's it, yep.
So, as I say, moved on to the DJing, practice, started putting out wee gigs myself. Nobody knew who I was, nobody knew nothing. Putting on wee small gigs here and there. Mate of mine, Stu from down Cumber, me and him were putting wee things together. And then what actually happened? He was working in Cold Rain. That's what it was. Studio was working in Cold Rain. He phoned me one night. He says to me, have you ever heard of a DJ called X-Ray? He says, oh yeah, I've heard of him. All right. Like, he says, well, I'm sitting here with him now. He says, you've got a gig with him next Friday night. I says, I dead honest. He says, no, seriously, he's going to give you a gig.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Ray, because without Ray, I probably wouldn't have pursued it.
Yeah.
There's things where you're getting the odd gig here and there, but nothing really worthwhile. Well, when Ray came on board, took me in, gave me the gig, and brilliant night. A few more gigs off the back of that.
Where was that there?
That was in Cold Rain. You called the night Juicy. I can't remember what you called the name of the club, the bar now, the club. But as I say, done a few gigs down there. Things were picking up, and then Energy started.
What sort of tunes were you playing then? Just at the start?
I was playing back then. It was old school to start. I mean, it's old school was my thing. Trance was starting to come in, and it was going to take over. It was the big thing that was coming in.
Just late 90s then?
Late 90s.
Did you ever play hardcore or anything then?
Not really. I wasn't really into the hardcore.
X-Ray at that time, he was like playing this. It's like banging trance.
Hard trance. He was playing the hard trance. Powerful stuff. Him and Cyber putting out at the same time. But the trance was sort of where I was at. Then, as I say, Energy had came along, and I had actually heard the station had only started and had an ad on looking for people to come down and do a mix. So I thought I'll go down and give it a wee shot. So I went down, done a mix. The mix went out on the radio on the Saturday night. And on the Monday, I got a phone call from Danny D, actually.
Yeah.
Danny phoned me and says, look, Lawrence Tony gave me a call. Good response on Saturday night. Do you fancy coming in and doing another wee set? I said, no problem, great. Then a fortnight later, done the set. Same thing, went down okay.
Was this Danny had started a Saturday night actual, like, being there, sort of?
No, this was down. This was originally in Outer Limits.
Oh, yeah.
In Ann Street. Lawrence had acquired that, and he was putting on different DJs on different nights. You came down, recording the set, and then to put the set in the radio.
Right.
So I went down, as I say, done the second set, went well. Lawrence phoned me. He says to me, right, he says, what do you like with a microphone? I says, well, I used to sing in a band, so nothing to me like.
Yeah.
He says, right, wee proposition. He said, a gig next Saturday night. He said it was in, what the flip did you call it now? It was in Carryduff, the Royal Ascot.
Right.
He said, now, I don't want to put any pressure on you, Stevie. He says, but if you get down here and you go well, he says, this is our first time in the club. If you go well, we've got a residency. Nice. And you'll get a job. If you don't, you don't. So I went down, and it was a belter of a night. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Residencies were the kind of thing you wanted, wasn't it? Like in a good club, good residency.
That was it.
That was the kind of goal back then.
I mean, if you could get a residency, getting wee guest spots was great, and it was lovely going and playing different clubs and bars and things. But when you got a residency, that was what you wanted, because you knew the crowd every week. You could work the crowd. You knew what worked with and what didn't. So it was great. I loved the Royal Ascot. Played in it for a while now with him. But I got the job with Lawrence and Energy, and things just changed.
Yeah.
Big time. It went from maybe 2 or 3 gigs a month, 2 or 3 gigs a week.
Yeah. Energy was mega, like.
It was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It was a great time. Great time. The Ice Bowl.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're going to the Ice Bowl, 2,000-3,000 kids all going nuts. I'd never seen the like that in my life. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I remember his high school gigs. Like, I never went to one, but I knew like they used the advertisements and stuff, and I knew they were a big deal. What sort of tunes do you remember back then that you were big in your box?
Back in the day, whenever Lawrence brought me this side, he says, because he knew what sort of stuff I played, he says, now what you have to do is, he says, when we go out, he says, there's a few songs that I want. You play what you want, he says, but there's a few that you have to play. That's big one was Superstar. As you know, Lawrence here came across Love Inc., played the song went down a storm. So we had Superstar. It was played start and end of the night. Yeah. You had your Maniacs, you had your Lock and Load, Ann Lee, way back to them times, you know what I mean? Cheesy, singy stuff that got them on the floor. And it worked.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just... You couldn't get past the car without hearing Energy blasting out.
That's it. I was saying to Lawrence, like, I would have flew about in a Saturday night in my mate's car and was just done all night long. And the 3 hour mix was just, it was perfect the way I'd done. It wasn't like a proper radio where you had your DJs coming in and out and all. It was just great
Start to finish
music,
mix.
start to finish. He played a couple of dodgy ones, like, but 99% was amazing, like, you know.
You had to throw the odd work on, like.
That was would you say it was the best time for music, right?
It was the best day. I enjoyed it the most. It was the most fun I had. Punters, no matter when you went out, a club was full.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You went out, every club you went to, the atmosphere was electric. They knew the songs. That was another big thing. They knew the songs. They knew the words to the songs.
Yeah.
Everybody out having a great night.
It was. It's like, it's a bit weird now. Like, it's a struggle, especially if you're a promoter trying to get people in. You have to put on everything. But back then, you just like, here we're playing tonight, and everybody turned up.
That's it. Well, back then, everywhere plays the same stuff. Well, majority of them do. But back then, there was only certain places that played dance music. So when you went and you were playing it, you knew fine rightly before you went in that it was going to be packed. Especially if it was an Energy night.
Yeah.
You knew before you got there that it was going to be a great
You knew
night.
what you were expecting.
Yep.
Or they knew what they,
They
were
knew
expecting.
so they were expecting it and they got it every time.
Yeah. So Energy is sort of, it was you and Danny were the main ones, and you were doing Saturday night live.
Club Energy, 7 to 9.
Was it
Club Energy.
live or was
Nope.
it like a?
We used to do it, record it on Thursday, because everything was broadcast, as you know, from Alien Mountain.
Alien Mountain, yeah.
But so we would have recorded the show on a Thursday afternoon in High Street in the Energy store. It was great doing it that way because you could get the punters coming in as well. You know what I mean? They could see you when you were doing the show. Once you come in, give your requests and stuff to put out.
Yeah.
And it was great when it was in there. I actually really enjoyed doing the show when it was in the shop.
Yeah, I liked it. I always listened to the Saturday night CDs were playing and stuff like. Because that was, if it was on Energy and it was going to be a big tune, that was kind of the where to go. Like, I don't know where. I know people go to Beatport Top 10 now and go, right, they must be big tunes, I'll play them. But then it was Energy. What sort of gigs stick out then for?
Back then, let me see. We're we've got a gig in a few weeks here in the Valley Hotel in 5 Mile Town. Nah, it's a brave few. That is one of the best gigs I used to do. Loved that gig. No matter when you get first time I pulled down into it. Have you ever been yet?
I don't know if I've been to the Valley one.
It's in the main street. You wouldn't even know it's a hotel, but there's a wee side bit go around to the car park, and I pulled around. The car park was just full of coaches. I thought there was something else on. I didn't realise they were all there for the Energy night, like until I got into the venue, and the place was electric, absolutely electric. But of all the clubs I've done, Culpa was probably my favourite.
Where's that?
That was used to be originally it was the Chicago Pizza Pie Factory. Just on the Dublin Road there behind the cinema.
Right. I remember that there.
I'm not sure what it changed into. Stiff Kitten.
Right.
It was Stiff Kitten after Culpa, but I was in there for about 3 years. Was in there. There and Mint. That was the two favourite ones. It was Mint for 6 years. It was a great. That's the old Parliament.
Yeah.
Lux it is now.
I used to go. It was Parliament and then the Kudos after it.
Yep.
So this was Mint was after that then.
Yep.
Right. What were you playing in there? Was this after Energy or before?
This was after Energy.
After Energy. How did your Energy thing? How did it all wrap up for you then, sort of?
Trying even to think now. What year was it? 2005, 2006, I think it was. It was just a shame what happened, to be honest. Because at that stage, I was in Culpa. That's right. I was already in Culpa playing at that stage. I was doing Culpa on a Saturday and the Elephant Rooms on a Friday. And lucky enough, there weren't the Energy ones because when it went down, all the gigs that we had along with it, a lot of them went. So only I had my own gigs sort of to keep me going.
Yeah, just like ones you were getting in yourself.
Yeah.
Was the Elephant Rooms, was that with WeJ?
He's on there. That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
WeJ and there was another guy along with him. Can't remember his name now. Actually forgot all about him now.
Yeah, WeJ. He's I still see him on Facebook all the time. He's still like an 18-year-old.
I've seen him on that.
I goes skipping out every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. Like he's never going to grow up. I say like. The Elephant Rooms was a good thing. Like the Paradise Lost and
Paradise
stuff.
Lost,
was
aye.
a good club. What clubs did you love back in the day?
Going to Airport Inn,
Yeah.
Circus.
Where was the airport in? Because I was too young to go, but I've always heard about it.
If you were to drive from Glengormley out to Temple Patrick,
Right.
it's about a mile before you come into Temple Patrick. Sits on the right hand side. I can't remember. It's offices now. I think it's office
Right.
space or something like that. There.
So you Chimney Corner would be in your left.
It was the left. You carry away on down that road about 3 or 4 miles. And it's sat on the right hand side.
All right.
The building's still sitting there as it sat there back in the day,
Yeah.
and it was brilliant.
That was the place to be.
It was a place there in Circus.
Uh,
It was.
who was on Circus when you were
Taser.
Taser?
Trying to think who else was on with him at that stage.
Eddie Ray and
Anyway, it was all. But he was on everywhere at that
Yeah.
stage.
yeah, they were killing it, weren't they? The Planet Love sort of thing. Trying to get Taser onto this here. I was talking to him on the phone. He was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You're sweet, just fucking do it.
I'd seen him at Planet Love here in Sedin.
Yeah, it's actually somebody messaged me the other day. He says I was talking to Taser. Me, and tell him to do this podcast. Get him on. Like he's putting it off. He's like, no, crazy like. And they were the days. So Elephant Rooms. I think I done up there one time whenever you were on too. If my memory serves me right.
It was a great club.
It
It was a great club. Absolutely loved it as well.
pity it been folded as well. Like,
There's an awful lot of clubs in Belfast around that stage. It just seemed to fold up. Nowadays, like even the likes of the M Club and stuff. Like I remember going back in the day, going to see TTF, QFX on a Wednesday night in the M Club, and they were bringing in some great artists. Whereas now the likes of clubs like that, you wouldn't get anything like that in them.
no, it's like I don't know what's happened. For flip's sake.
Belfast has changed.
Yeah, it's all too cool now, isn't it? Like sort of.
That's it.
Too
You know what
cool.
I mean? That's it. Whenever I went down, there was one of the times I was down in X-Ray's house, and in his wee room we has a studio, is a photograph, and someone had took this photograph from the stage one night, looking out into the crowd
From Kelly's.
in Kelly's, in the original Kelly's, and you want to see it. Guys in their woolly jumpers and people. Oh, you want to see them?
Tops off, just
And
sweating.
he said it was just. Ray said, he says back in the day, he said it was just. You'd have a couple of guys standing on the corner, maybe having a wee beer and a mate. You get down to Kelly's, and they're standing there, maybe in their ripped trackies and the tees. Aye, come on, well, when we get down, no fashion patrol.
Yeah.
You go into the night, had to be done up to the nines. Back in, you want to see them. Nobody cared. They were there for the music. They were there for the music.
A good time. We all the crap that was going on at the time as well. It was a good outlet for people just to flip and go wild, wasn't it? Like,
That's it. No, I mean everybody needed it.
yeah.
Everybody needed it. No, I mean, and the thing was as well, you didn't care where you went after it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you went and nobody cared who you were or where you were.
Everybody was in love with each other.
That's it. Say no more.
Did you? The trouble's going on. Just remind me. Do you have any sort of things like you get stuck in, or did you have to worry about going anywhere? Or?
See, to be honest with you, I never worried about going anywhere. Anywhere. I wouldn't care where I went. You know what I mean? Maybe a bit silly, maybe sometimes back in the day, but I never had any hassle.
I always felt like DJs got a bag ball, didn't they? Like, or like you're here to entertain us.
You're there to entertain.
So
That's
just
it.
Not worry about it.
You know what I mean? And I'd have went absolutely anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere that they just want.
That's
it.
it.
As long as they're there to party.
As long as they're going to have a good time, I'd have been there.
So we're at the Elephant Rooms. The music had changed by this point as well, wasn't it? Wasn't it sort of coming into like funky sort of house and stuff? Did you notice the bouncy stuff down?
There was, but I just kept playing it. I didn't care. No, I played what I played. Know what I mean? The music did. Well, it's always been changing, sort of, but I sort of stuck with what I was playing throughout it. The energy stuff, when you go out with the energy gigs, they know what they want.
They know.
And if you don't play what they want, they'll soon let you know.
Or Superstar.
Maniac!
What would you say was the biggest one? 'Cause I asked people this, energy or Superstar or Maniac.
Superstar.
Everybody says that there. Like.
Superstar. Superstar, Maniac, bits and pieces.
Yeah. I remember I was at a party one time and everybody sort of fell asleep, but the music was sort of banging around and it was bloody Maniac playing on repeat for 8 hours, but nobody had the energy to get up and change
turn it
it.
off.
So it was just going and going and going and going. So I've hated that song from that. Nightmare, like.
Well, if I had a pound for every time I played it, I wouldn't even need DJ anymore. That would do me. Take the money and run.
Isn't it mad? They're still going like some Superstar, Maniac. People still like ask for them.
Oh,
young, old.
That's the thing. It doesn't matter what age with that song. You put that song, Superstar, Maniac, or Bits and Pieces, you put any of those three on, that dance floor's full.
Bits and Pieces, like I was like 92, 93. I say that's our like birdie song, you know, in the weddings. Yeah. The older people used to go up and do a birdie song, but we're going to be like in the old people's home and they're like, put
Bits and Pieces on.
The summer frames and all. That's going to be crazy, like. So were you still going strong in after the energy? Did you find the work sort of drying up, or what sort of happened?
Yeah, it's sort of dried up, and I had my own bits and pieces of work coming in.
You work full time as well?
I'm postie. I've been a postie 33 years now.
Jeez,
long time. But there was actually a friend of Lawrence's, Brian. Brian used to get me a lot of work as well. So whenever Energy closed, although I did lose some of the work.
Is this Brian Donnelly?
Brian McKenna.
All right.
He owns McKenna's there just in Belfast.
Yeah.
Well, Brian used to get me a lot of work. So whenever it folded, some of the gigs had stopped, as I say, but it still had my own going. So I wasn't really that bothered, but some of the ones, you know what I mean, it was a shame that it went, because some of the gigs that we had sort of down the country.
Yeah. That's where Energy was massive, wasn't it? Like all around the countryside and the farmers.
That's it. Like, as I say, that one Valley Hotel in 5 Mile Town, I couldn't believe it the first time I went down, because you're getting into this wee town that looks like 50 people live in it, and you go into the nightclub, there's 500 in it, and you're going, where did these come from? How did they even know it was on? Yeah. Because at one stage we were a bit worried, because you were losing the signal or the radio station. Depends where you went in Northern Ireland, how good the signal was. So I was going away down to some of these wee places in the back hole of nowhere, and you're going, wait, they can hardly get a phone signal. They're not going to be getting energy. And you go into open the door of the nightclub, and the club was packed,
rammed,
absolutely packed. It was great. So the likes of those gigs, they all sort of fell by the wayside once Energy closed. But lucky enough, myself and the likes of Danny and stuff, we all had our own gigs sort of to keep us tied over.
I got you one time into the Palm Grove. Do you remember that one?
I do indeed, aye.
I think you left after your set. Did you know what happened after it?
No.
The place went on fire.
You're joking?
They lit the bookies on this side, and after you went, it was about a half an hour, and I was playing, and the smoke started coming in the room. And then here's me, what the hell's going on here? And the bouncer comes and says, get out, get everybody out. The place, the boogies is on fire, and it's coming in here. And it filled up so quick with smoke. Everybody went out, but my decks were still, plugged in. And I was like trying to get my decks and pull them out, but they were still plugged in. They were like, wouldn't go, and all. I was like, fucking get out of here. Get down. So everybody's run down. I'm run out with my decks, like. And that was that closed then for.
I actually done a foam party in there. Me and a guy, Paul, done a foam party in the Palm Grove.
I remember as well.
We're about an hour into it, and the next thing, a couple of big scary boys came up. Get that off! Get that! Me, what the hell's wrong? Yeah. We didn't realise, man. The stuff was coming through the ceiling. Well, they were watching, there was a big football match on, and it was shorting the TV out. The water was coming through. So needless to say, the foam machine was turned off for the rest of the night. Yeah. Either that or we weren't getting out.
This Bongo was some crazy nights in there, like the dodgy one, to be sure.
That was, aye.
That was funny. They got there the night you were in, because I think we got you to sort of, what just opened it again. We wanted to get you to sort of kick it off, you know, like we were like, right, that's all good, and it was got a good crowd, and then it's went fire, and
that was it.
Done. Another failed attempt at getting someone going.
Did you get your tax out all right?
I got my tax out.
Well, that's the main point, no, I mean, as long as you got the tax out.
I was saying to my mate when he was in here before, but the same tax then would hook up to the Ballybow, and we left them in there. We all speakers. We got a Princess Trust loan, bought all brand new speakers, and left them in there overnight. And then my mate phoned me the next day. Ron, he goes, "You seen the news?" And we know. He says the Ballybow's burnt down.
You're joking? Was your stuff in it?
All my stuff was in it. So it was all gone.
You couldn't have wrote that, boy.
I know. And then he says, I know the owner, the owner says if we give him receipts, he'll reimburse us when the insurance comes in. So I gave him all the receipts, and he done a bolter to England. It turned out he burnt it down himself.
Self to get the money?
So
you were...
That was another failed attempt.
Maybe never lend you a Dax.
Oh, no, oh, there's more there if I'm sick.
But so after that, after the energy, so there was about, I think it was about 2005. I think that was when energy closed. 98 to 2005. I think it was.
Oh, it was 8 years or so.
So then there was a sort of about 5 years where I was sort of doing my own thing, and then I started getting messages. I got a friend request from this guy, Donny Cragen.
Yeah.
Here's me who's I'll accept him anyway. So I accepted him. And then he sent me a message. Do you have any CDs? And I hit me, this is a melter. So I deleted him. So he kept sending me friend requests, and I kept deleting them. And eventually I accepted him again. And then he sent me a message. He says, look, I've taken over energy.
Mm.
He says, I'm trying to put gigs together. Would you be interested? And I'd heard that many times.
Yeah.
I said to him, you put the gigs together, give me a wee shout. He did. He phoned me, he says, we've got Mandela Hall. You're playing in Mandela Hall. I says, fair enough. This was, I think it was about 7 years, I think me and him has been gigging together now.
And energy was, like you said, it was about 6 or 7 years, was it, or nothing? And he came in, like Mandela Hall, you must have been thinking, what, hang on, do you not build up here? He's just went in flipping.
Well, saying that, one went into Mandela, but weren't into the main Mandela Hall itself, because there's 1, 2, there's 3 or 4.
Speakeasy room, was it?
No, started off in, oh my goodness. What was the name of it now? I can't even remember the name of the room, but there's 2 or 3 different rooms. We started off with a small one. I think a small one held something like 300 people. There's about 350 turned up.
What was the lineup in the first one?
I think the lineup was me. I can't even remember now. I can't even remember whether Donny Cragen was playing or not. Tommy came on board. I think Tommy came on board for the second one. That's near sure Donny came on board for the second one. But done the first one, it was great. Booked us in for a second one. The second one was great. And then we worked our way up to the main hall in Mandela, which, to be honest, was unheard of. Unheard of. And we sold it out. So Donny decided off the back of that, he was going to do a sort of a 12-month tour, doing different gigs here. And it just built off the back of that. It just built off the back of that. And then, you know, Belfast Goes Large and the winter one, they all just came off the back of it.
It's a pity that last one there sort of got cancelled. I was looking forward to that there.
2024 will be a biggie.
Yeah.
2024
he's
will
got
be
he hasn't said to me, like, I don't want you to say
well,
anything,
I can't say anything in case I say the wrong thing.
But has he got people planned? Like, already,
yes. Oh, there's some planned and there's some penciled in and everything already. So it'll be a biggie.
The Belfast Goes Large is amazing. Like, that's the first I'd been out properly in ages. I was like really nervous. I went on after you, didn't I?
I done 2 sets last year. I opened the main.
Oh yeah, the big one, and then
the main stage, and then on the energy stage.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic. The atmosphere in it was electric.
Yeah.
Absolutely electric.
And everybody was like completely buzzing, like just for the energy and the music.
And it's brilliant having all the different rooms. You know what I mean? Where you can have somebody into their old school. You know what I mean? Like the lineup they had in that old school room last year was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of them names that they had on it, brilliant.
I said to Donny, because I wanted to hear Tizer, and Tizer was on the same time as me. So I said to Donny, can I not go on an hour before so I can go in
see
Tizer? And he says, aye. So he swapped me around. Then when I finished, I went in, and it was your man Maximum.
That did Maximus?
Yeah, Maximus.
Whitehead.
He was playing. I said, what happened to you? He goes, I'll let him go on. I went on earlier.
I missed it. You get your set and all chance to see him.
Sorry, but he done a bit of back to back with him. Like, well, it was pretty good. Like,
I was good night Tizer. It was brilliant at the Planet Love last year.
It's always good just to give it a wee blast again, and then like.
Oh, aye.
Sort of. You on Planet Love this year?
Yep, on in the VIP suite this year.
Yeah.
So
VIP lineup's pretty good, isn't it?
VIP's looking brilliant this year.
Mickey Modell, Neil McClown, yourself. Who else is on that there one?
I actually had a thing of it because I was actually looking at it the other day. Let's see all who was on it. Who have we got? Ourselves, Cole Hamilton.
Yeah.
Computer, Glaive, Jacko, Mickey, Neil McClown, and Pete Sludden, and Sash.
What's all the biggest NI stars?
You know what I mean? It's
This computer, the guy from
that's Gareth.
used to do Circus
Yep,
back in the
that's
day
him.
with Robbie and
That's the man.
right.
Fantastic. Super DJ. Super DJ.
Has he not done anything from then, or
Well, he was on the VIP and stuff last year because Circus, VIP was Circus last year. All the DJs from Circus.
right? Okay, cool. Why did he give it up, or did he?
I don't honestly know. I think he's just still doing bits and pieces here and there, but
It's funny how some people like are really, like we were saying about Geordie Parker earlier, that are like nearly there, you know, and then they just you don't hear from them
they've
again.
gone. Like Jordy was, as we were saying, like the guy was unreal back in the day.
He was,
Absolutely. I remember going around to his house when I was first getting into DJing.
Did he have a Gold Techniques by then?
No. It was because of him that I got my Gold Technics.
All right, we got the two.
Because I had went down. The first time I actually went down with Geordie, there was a guy Neil McAllister
Ian McAllister.
from Rathcoole. Trying to remember where Neil works, but there was about 4 DJs were all there, and I had came down, and it was the first I'd met them all, and I'd never done a gig,
Yeah.
and I walked in the Neil's and I went, "There's the Dax, you're up next." And it was one of them mixes you're queued, must have queued that mix up 3 or 4, making sure it was in beat. And see when I dropped it in, and my heart just, thank God for that. So them all standing there. But
the pressure and it. Like,
oh yeah, because back then, you know what I mean, you were going round to somebody's house, so somebody had a set of decks. Normally when you went round, there was maybe 3, 4, 5 people all sitting there, going on one at a time, having a mix. And if you buggers your mix up, let me tell you, they let you know about it, okay? But Geordie, as you said about Geordie there, I went round one time and he phoned me, he said to me, "Stevie, I've got the Gold decks." I says, "What Gold decks?" He says, "Technics have brought out these Gold decks." So I went round and seen them. He goes, "I need a set of them."
Jeez.
So, but they were pretty expensive. So, saved the money up and then I went to get a set. Couldn't get them. They'd only made so many pairs of them.
I think it's 500 or something. Wasn't it?
And
Like,
the
each?
thing about it was, I wanted sequential numbers. The thing about it was, if you bought the first 100, I thought it was everybody got them, but Geordie had the decks. But for every deck you bought, you got a framed 12-inch gold record
All right.
with the number of your deck on the deck plate and on that.
Like proper collector's items stuff.
So I tried to get the decks, couldn't get them. I ended up I had to get from different companies, weren't sequential numbers, but at least I got them sent over. No picture discs. I said, "Where the hell's my picture?" It was only the first 100. So I never got them, but I got the gold decks.
Yeah,
So
got the gold. Have you still got them?
oh, still got them all right. Yep.
I've still got my first set of Technics. I want the gold ones too, but I can never afford it. It was just a dream. I still my first set of Techniques, and they're flipping the durable, aren't they? Like I've dropped mine downstairs. I don't know how many times, and they still work. Like, see
If they're not getting burnt.
if they're not getting burned. Down the Palm Grove steps, and I used to do the Geordie and drop them down them steps as well.
The Geordie.
That was another nightmare. Did you ever do down there?
I did it with Geordie Parker actually.
All right. Cool.
I was meant to go on, and Geordie had a 20-minute scratch to himself. Never mind the punters, I just scratched for 20 minutes. I'm stopping my arms folded.
Waiting to go.
But that was another place. That's when it turned into a sports bar, I think.
Yeah.
They got a boxing ring in.
That was so they weren't fighting outside.
Aye.
They could,
just go straight into the ring. Move on here, lads.
as I was fighting every week, but I got it. I was going to say, did you ever meet Dino McElwain, really?
Dino? Oh, yes, aye.
Dino. He was my next door neighbour, like, and saying about scratching and stuff being on, like, he would have took my decks and I wouldn't have had them for ages, but he got us to do a party one time, and he says, "I'll do the start of the night and you guys can do the end of the night." But he just bit and done all night, wouldn't let us on. We were sitting in the corner, like, any time night, he's just loving it, just kept going on.
Getting away.
I forget what we were now, mate. Did you ever think about getting into the production or anything then?
I did, but a bit old for it. I thought about it years ago, and to be honest, if I had put my head 8 years ago, I would have been all right, but too old and too for it now. Leave that to younger kids.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It takes years and years and years, unless you have the time to invest in it. Then And it's probably a waste of time, really. Like,
Yeah.
um,
I'll give that a bye ball.
did you ever do any? Because you were saying about you don't want to mess up in front of anybody. Did you ever do a fuck up in a club somewhere?
Oh yeah, big time. Remember where were we playing that night? I actually remember the guy that came over and told me. It was in Dungannon. It was, tell you where it was. It was in Exit 15. Put a track on. Busting for a piss. So I said, right, I'll put this track on. It was mixed into a track, run off, went, had a piss, came back, mixed in. The guy came run over. He says to me, Stevie, that's a song you just mixed out. I forgot to lift it off bloody turntable. Mixed out of the song into this one, had a piss and mixed back into the one just mixed out of.
Thank you, Doctor.
Mind you, I think the guy that was on the stage with me was the only one that noticed because everybody kept dancing. Or stopping the wrong deck.
Yeah.
That's the one at the minute is taking the USB out of the wrong deck. That is the killer.
Anytime I'm coming up, I think I said to you when I was saying, I was like, no, you do that for me.
I leave it to Drew.
Yeah.
I leave it to Drew. Drew normally does it for me, and then if he makes a cock up, then it's his.
I can't do that either. I don't know what one to stop and take out, and then is it linked with that one?
It's all right if you have one in each, but when you've got that link, and it's on here, when you is it linked to that deck or is it... Drew?
It happened to me and Jamie, and it wasn't the wrong. Somebody had knocked the USB, and when you do that there, then it just goes into the emergency loop. And we were like, "What the hell's going on?" And the place was packed out, and it was just going dun 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 dun, dun like. And Jamie turns it down. He goes, "Say something in the mic while I'm trying to fix it." And I was dead nervous about, like, I'm not one for microphone. I don't know what that. So I had to shout, "And everybody make some noise!" To pretend as if we'd done it on purpose.
Yep.
And he was like, "Fucking trying
to sort it out again." Well, that's the only problem on them things. Taking that USB out.
Yeah.
Hit that.
Or sometimes your CD back when it was CDs, it just stopped.
Yeah.
I know, in the middle of a song.
That's it, just randomly stop and you're sitting there. It's all right if you're standing beside the deck, but if you're way doing something, and suddenly you hear no music, and the crowd going nuts.
My mate was trying, he's like, I could do that DJing, it's easy. We were like, right, okay. So he practiced a few times in my house, and then it was in the Crusaders Club. Mm-hmm. Did you do R2?
Oh, I've done there a load of times,
in the Crusaders Club, and he goes, right, I could do it. So he always done it with two headphones on, instead of listening out. So he put the two headphones down. He was concentrating that much and trying to get the beat that the other song had run out. And it was just silence, and he's like trying to just, mix thing. And we're all trying to shout at him, going, Peckler, there's nothing playing. And he looked at us and went, oh. He just threw the headphones down and run into the toilet. That was him for about an hour. We would give him some grief when he come back. Oh, it's easy, isn't it?
When you get something wrong in front of a crowd, it's...
Yeah. My mate done that in front of Tyser, lifting the wrong
record
off the thing. Tyser just went, mate, I've done it loads of times. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's so easy done. Like, so easy done, especially if you had a few beers.
Yeah, when wings are worse. So what sort of a load of things with energy now? Trying to think. Anything else sort of been happening?
Just realised. Well, let me see. What have I got coming up? There's a load of things coming up here at the minute. So there is actually. Let me see. What have I got? Well, the big one coming up here on the 30th. That's the homecoming one in September. That's the one in the bot with Danny D, myself, Drew, Tommy, Lawrence.
Danny D back doing it then?
Danny's back for this one. This is a homecoming.
Why did he... No.
I don't know.
Politics?
Probably.
Yeah.
But he's back then. We're doing a gig, say, Saturday the 30th. That's in the bot. We're doing that, so that's the first we've got Danny on board with us for that one. But, as I say, let me see him. 25th this month, next Friday, actually. Belly Blacks, banger. 2nd of September, Top of the Town in Antrim. And then the Whistling Donkey in Newry. 2 in the one day there.
The Whistling Donkey?
Yeah. And then Plant Love,
yeah,
September 16th. And
that'll
then
be a cracker.
the Valley, that's the one I'm really looking forward to. The Valley Hotel, 23rd of September. And then the 30th, as I say, that's the homecoming gig at the Bot. And then in the Bot this year, instead of the Belfast, there's Totally 90s. That's on the 2nd of December. 3 rooms on in it as well, and then we're getting ready for Belfast Goes Large to say the summer edition next year again.
There's no winter. Oh, the 90s replaced the winter.
The Totally 90s is replacing the winter edition for it this year. It's going to be I can't say too much in a minute. There's going to be a massive lineup in this, absolutely massive. And then, as I said earlier on at the start there, it's coming up my 30th year of DJing, so we're planning something pretty big for that.
Nice one.
Pretty big for that.
What be you done records like obviously back in the day? What was your first one and stuff?
The first record,
Aye.
Alison Limerick, Where Love Lives.
What's that there? I don't know.
Dancing Divas. I wanna know deep
it a dance
down
one?
where love lives, where love lives.
that.
That's it. Oh,
Yeah.
that was my first record that I actually bought. But all my stuff, because back then it was all sort of later stuff. Because my idea was nobody knows who the hell I am. So if I get a gig, it's going to be a warm up set.
Yeah.
So there's no use going out and spending your money on a set of bangers because nobody's going to put you on.
Yeah.
So it was all nice
And
singy,
yeah.
melodic stuff for the start of the night to try and get gigs.
Uh,
But I still buy a lot of records.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you Discogs?
Ah. Mm-hmm.
I say, well, I haven't done it in ages because it was like falling down the Alice in Wonderland flipping hole again. You know, going in my want list is about 300 records long, and
It's easy done.
yeah,
It's easy done. See when you go on there and you go on the order one, then I
Yeah.
forgot about that wee track, and where's that?
they get you because it's like if you buy one, the postage is about a tenner, so you might as well get an extra 5 or 6 to go in that box because it's the same postage. So
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that way.
that's what you have to do. Like they've got you there. Like, what was your? Have you bought one that's like a rare one that's loads of money?
Well, the thing is, the records that you used to have that were worth a load of money, they're not worth a load of money now because people can download bloody copies of them. Like, I remember Lion Rock, Testify,
Yeah, Carnival.
like, see, trying to get that on vinyl back in the day, that was a hard track to get on vinyl, and it was worth some money. Wouldn't be worth
I
squat
actually
now.
got it in Discogs. I think it was only 50p or something.
You know what I mean? And I think I paid back then like 25 quid for it. And at one stage, it was worth about 100 quid. And then all these downloads came out and just nobody sort of went for them as much. All the ones that were worth a lot of money just seemed to drop in price a lot.
I found it like a lot of the hardcore ones are still quite dear on it. I kept all my records. You kept all yours?
I
too?
kept all mine on.
There was a phase when like records went out and I was like, I can't go sell these, and I sold about 5, and then I was like, what are you doing, Ron? What are you doing?
They're nice just to keep me, even for nostalgia.
Yeah. Have you got them out, or
No, I mean,
have you got like a wee room? and
I
stuff?
have a studio and all in the house, so everything's down there.
I've got mine. Do you ever see like I do lives?
Oh, I've seen it.
So
Yeah.
I've got them behind me. Like I just love that there going around, like hooking through them and stuff.
I remember one of the first times I played in Thompson's. Stevie Boyd was the DJ down there in the time. Going back maybe 20 years. And I couldn't believe it because we went into the DJ booth. He had his record collection in the DJ booth.
All of it.
His whole record collection. I mean, a couple of thousand records sitting there. And I said, he says, better to have them here. He said, it's always there when I want it. I thought it was fantastic, like back in the day.
Oh, that would be brilliant. But do you ever go when you're right, what will I play? And you start at the back and you go to, I don't know. And then
Do
you're
you ever look at your record box after a gig? And nothing's in the, it takes you 2 days to put them back into the right sleeves.
Oh, it's all empty sleeves and then just black records.
Black records, all that.
Or the ones that don't fit in. You're like, fuck it.
And it's just smashed up and
nightmare. So you're running the tracks where you're like trying to pick one, you can't pick one, even when you've only like about 50 records and you've only like about 30 seconds left. So you end up playing a crap one just because you didn't have time aside. So how's he doing it with 2,000 records there?
That's it. Like when you think about it too, you used to have, you'd went out there with a record box, maybe 2 or 3 records, but if you had a record box, you'd flick through that thing maybe 40 or 50 times in a night. You knew the order of them. What the hell you were still flicking through them for? Don't know.
I don't know. And then that's a maybe.
Then you're constantly sort of moving things to the front.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to work now. I'll move it to the back.
I've 20 minutes left. That's about 4 or 5 records. So we do.
Yeah. Now, I have to say, your night sort of used to fly in when you were playing on vinyl because you were spending that much time, as you say, flicking through looking for a track.
Or focusing to get the beat and stuff.
And you literally just got the time to do it, and you were on to the next mix, and you could go on and do, like, when I used to go out and play, it used to be 5 hours.
Yeah.
That was it. You'd done the whole night yourself. And that 5 hours disappeared.
Yeah.
Disappeared because you were constantly on the go.
I was saying yesterday to one of the people in the DJ Academy, like I used to do, like when you're doing your residencies, it was 4 or 5 hours. Now I can do like an hour and a half max, and my back starts to hurt. And
I'm the same. I'm the same. You know what I mean? It's normally an hour and a half. So, and I guess we're saying, there was a fella asked me there a few months back. He said to me, what's the longest you played for? It was 11 hours I played for one time. Straight. You know what I mean? And that was absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? But when you come back after it, you're in the house, you're buzzing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Still
It's absolutely
raring, like,
brilliant. Brilliant.
I don't think what the mine longest we were. I think the Millennium Night maybe when I was DJing was just one. No, it was 1 to 7. What was that? 6 hours just.
11 hours. That was a long
So yeah, was it Card Cox? He does big long ones, doesn't he? What's the length of his ones? He does like 12
like
hours.
he was going to say, he was doing something like 12 hours, huh?
At
You know
his
what I mean?
age.
But then again, you DJs back in the day, you used to go and see DJs and they played maybe 3, 4, 5 hour sets. Like I remember going to see Sasha and Digweed, and they done 6 hours straight. But it was a journey. You know what I mean? They were starting off and just building up as that set went on. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
The dance floor hasn't got as much attention span now.
No,
So
even you probably notice yourself now, sure, even the tracks that's coming out now, there's no 7, 8, 9 minute tracks.
like
They're all
3
3
and
and 4. That's it.
they
know what
just
I mean?
went straight into the big bits and then out again.
30-second intro, 30-second outro. You know what I mean? Whereas used to love a 2-minute mix.
And I'd say I was trying to explain to the wee girl yesterday, like trance records. When she was flicking through them, she flicked into 2 minutes. And here's me, no, you need to go 5 minutes in before you get to the, to see what song it is. Those 2-minute extended mixes.
That's it. That's still a drum beat.
Yeah. I'm glad it went down to 30 seconds because when you're doing even the 1 minute ones now, you start to see, and after 30 seconds, people are like, oh, I don't know that there. Do you want to go get a drink? And then they're off, and then the music comes in. They're, oh, back on again.
That's it. They don't have the people don't, they're not as into the music as much.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like, even, sure you noticed yourself, whenever you used to go out and buy a piece of vinyl, you knew every drop, every break, every note. You knew that song inside and out. And what I found was, whenever the digital downloads came in, sometimes you're getting a track and only playing it once, and then it was binned.
Yeah.
Whereas if you went out and you went in the street dance or mix master on a Saturday morning and spent £10-15 on a track, you played that track, and you played that track to death. Know what I mean? You got your value out of it. Whereas now, I don't think you
have hard drives with like 20,000 songs on it. And like,
you play 6 songs of it. You know what I mean? It has gone that way. No, I mean, it's not as enjoyable. You know what I mean? I used to love going out on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, finish
Doing
the post office,
tour.
10 o'clock, street dance, mix master, and then there was the one round at Smithfield.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of it now, but you went round, that was your wages. You got your wages on a Friday, it was gone the Saturday morning records. But you didn't mind because, see, if you came out and you had that one white label, you knew you were the only one in town had it that day. Couldn't wait that night to get out and play it.
That was it. And then you heard the tracks in like CDs or something or tape, and then you were like waiting on it coming in anxiously. When's it in yet? No, it's.
That's right. Like I remember going down the mix master when Mickey was working down there. They used to call me the singing postman.
All right.
Because I had the tapes, and then I went in. Mickey, what's this one? Stevie, that's so and so. What's the singing postman's in the day? And that's how I used to go in. I'd have listened to tapes, or you'd have been out on a night, and you'd have heard a DJ playing a track, and you'd try to remember just something about that track. So as when you went into the shop the next week, you could say to him, "Do you know this?"
The first time I was stripping wallpaper in the room, was listening to The Energy. I think it might have been one of your mixes or something. And the bootleg of True Love Never Dies come on. And because Airwave was my favourite song. And then I was like, wow, this vocal just sounds unbelievable. What a track. And then I had to wait 3 hours, to come back on again or something, because of the thing.
To the video switched over again.
But I just remember like waiting till that come on to try and record it on the tape. Like I was just.
That's another song that still goes down. Still goes down well.
Unbelievable. Like.
No, I mean, there were certain songs out then. Well, I suppose it's always the same, like, but there's songs there that 20-year-old songs, and you drop them a day and it'll fill. Kids got out there dancing to it, they weren't even born.
Yeah.
When the song came out, they probably just heard their mum and dad playing it on Saturday night when they were put to bed.
We didn't hear this song, we didn't hear this. Listening from the floor, like, oh, there's that superstar again.
That maniac's back again in the house.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. So, probably up to, we spoke about all your gigs. What's the one that sticks out the most in your career?
Gig-wise?
It's hard to choose.
It is hard to choose, man. I'm actually trying to think of artists more than gigs.
Yes, the ones you...
Artists
I can remember DJing with, and she was
so
on.
So, because I used to love doing that. It was one of the things. Sorry to change the subject, but I used to love that. Say you were playing with Ian Van Dahl, Des Mitchell, whatever it was, bringing down their tracks. Sign that record, mate. Sign that.
Yeah.
I have a big section in the house, and they're put so as it don't damage us. And it's all records that have got like the Rude and things. Whenever we're doing the Lansdowne, Lawrence was bringing different ones in every week. And whoever they were, I had the record down, saying that, mate, and then stick it away and put it there. But
so he had Des Mitchell on at one.
Well, he had Des Mitchell on.
Where was that there?
Welcome to the Dance. Where did we have Des Mitchell on? Was that Orpheus? It was maybe Orpheus New Underworld, University Street. That used to be a brilliant play on this Friday night.
Yeah,
that was fantastic on a Friday night. I can't think any one gig that stands out.
When I think of like trying to think of mine, like you pick, there's always one or two recent, but then when you think of them early gigs when it was just rammed every week, it sort of all mushes into one, but they were all like special and
That's it. See, but back in the day, like last year, Belfast Goes Large.
Yeah.
Absolutely powerful. Warmed up for Kieran McCauley. Superb. Crowd, immense. Atmosphere, immense. The whole gig was just fantastic. But as you say, back in the day, every gig was like that. You know what I mean? You were going down to a gig, and no matter where it was, the atmosphere, the people was up for it. Dance floor was full from that first beat to the last beat.
Yeah.
So trying to think of just a one-off, you know what I mean? I can't think of a one-off that stands
Probably
out.
a club then. What sort of club would you?
Look, favourite club of them all that done, and it wasn't a big, it was Culpa.
Yeah.
Culpa, I absolutely loved
Special
her.
nights.
That was my first real serious residency. That was there for a real good while. I was on start to finish every night, so you could work the crowd. You knew what, and the atmosphere. It was probably of all the gigs I've done, it was my favourite venue.
Yeah. And you can make them like songs that you like, don't
Oh
you?
yeah, oh yeah.
It's just, you're getting
That's
it again.
If you don't like it, you'll like it the next week.
I always played ones that I wanted them to like after like a big massive one that they love. So I'll stick it on now quick so that
Hopefully they'll stay on the floor.
Yeah, that was nowhere. So what sort of, who were your heroes sort of growing up in the DJ sort of world?
I liked old school ones. Trevor Riley. Loved Trevor Riley. From over here, loved Glaive. Glaive was another level.
Yeah.
Glenn Malloy.
We're trying to get them in. They've sort of said that when they get time.
Another level, man. One of the first times I played with Glaive was actually in a place in Warren Point. I just stood and watched them for about an hour. You know what I mean? Just, what am I doing wrong? Why have they booked me to go on after him?
Yeah.
I want to go home.
Have you DJ with Glaive lately? We were doing the standard. It was a few years. It was about 3-4 years ago, maybe. But he was well in, and he was doing so much stuff, and the laptop and the the panniers and stuff. I was just mixing this and that and putting that in here and changing that, and I was going. I just go from one record to the other.
It's like Craig DeSale.
I've seen.
If you watch him,
unbelievable.
he's just another level.
Unreal.
Another level. You know what I mean? And he makes it look so effortless.
Yeah.
So effortless. But Cleve, now saying that, I'm playing with him here in a couple of weeks, so at that Planet Love and things, so.
Well, maybe you'll look and he'll go, Jesus.
No, I'm not going to hear him this time. I'll let him do his thing and then I'll go over.
Oh, but he's been in a long time, hasn't he? He was the earliest ones that I can think of, Cleve ED, when I was thinking back. So you said a couple of people that you've DJ'd with. Who was your biggest that you reckon you could DJ with?
Probably the likes of the ones that they've had at the Belfast Goes Large.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like they've had some big artists now at Belfast Goes Large, and then like, but even gigs like I remember back in the day, if somebody had said to me, "Right, Stevie, you'll be playing with Dave Pearce," I'd just take yourself off, and it ended up just through the energy thing that you were playing with Dave Pearce that many times. You got to know the guy.
yeah,
I go, actually know these people here,
yeah.
but because some of the gigs that you got, like I think last year, who did they have on it? Who was headlining in the Belfast Goes Large last year?
Summer one, we had Lounge,
Signum.
Signum,
Kieran
Lost,
McCauley.
but I think it was the winter one, wasn't it, Kieran McCall?
No,
No, was that the
no,
summer
he
one?
was in the summer one because Lost Witness.
Yeah.
I had to cover his set last year at the summer one because he couldn't make it. There was something happened that day.
Robbie Nelson come in. Like I've seen Robbie loads of times, DJ'd with him a couple of times, but he come in, but he was all tan, right? And he looked dead different.
Uh-huh.
And I said to him, "Are you Simon from Lost Witness?" He goes, "No, I'm Robbie." And I went, because I didn't know what Simon looked like. And then I just went, right, see you later.
Right there on.
I'm away.
He did it himself there.
Dodging himself for the rest of the night. For sake, so embarrassing.
But I say, Glaive, Robbie. First time I seen Robbie down in a, what do you call it, arena.
Yeah.
That was another level.
North spot one.
That was he was the captain of that ship, all right, boy.
Yeah.
He had that place well under control. It was fantastic.
I heard Fergie saying one of the podcasts with Mallorca I was telling you about earlier, and he was saying when he went down with Robbie in the arena, he says everybody just sat on the floor until the music
The
came
music
on.
came on. The lights. The light show. There used to be a light show. The lights came down out of the ceiling, and all opened up. And I can't remember the name of the track they used to be playing. And the lights, and then once that finished,
Was it like a classical thing or something?
yeah, it
like
was some mad thing.
Big
that used to, but this was done just to do all these lights, and then once that finished, bang, dance floor was full, absolutely full.
I'd love to have seen that. Mallorca couldn't even understand. He was like, "What do you mean? They're all sitting? Were they all wiped out at that stage or so? Were they all gone?" He's like, "No, they just sat down when this thing sat on the floor, and then when that thing came down and they got up, he just says, that was it.
Yeah,
Bang,
everybody
the
went
rest of the
there.
night was crazy.
Fantastic.
I'd have loved to have seen that there. Like I sort of just missed because I was too young to go to like Callie's and circus and stuff like that. There, I went to Kilwater once and under 18s.
Mm-hmm.
That was my old school. That was it. Just one.
We had there was one of the nights sitting in the house just talking about Geordie Parker again, and next thing the door knocked, and Geordie opens the door and he came in with Fergie.
Yeah.
And I sort of knew him because he was only about 15 at the time, but he had won a DJ competition and there's a picture of him standing on a beer crate. So in this wee lad came and they were heading out that night. Tony DeVitt was playing in Belfast.
Wow.
And that was the night that Fergie went down to meet him. And he came round to the house now and he was sitting in my house. And I tell people, like back then, he was only a wee 15-year-old boy. Look at him now.
I know.
Look at him now.
That's crazy. He went over there at that age, like 15, and just going away from your family just to live the dream. He's doing really well, like.
Fantastic. It was the same as I was down in Belfast a couple of years back there. Got talking to this woman on a bar, and then it was Simon Patterson's mother.
Right.
And she was telling me about him, and I think he was about 17, 18. He just up and left and went to London and literally just started knocking doors.
Yeah.
And that's how he got where he is today. He didn't know anyone, didn't know anything about it, just went over and started knocking doors.
So you have to have that sort of personality,
Yeah.
don't you, just to be able to be out there and get out there and do it. Oh, that's amazing.
I was too busy being a poster.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Like, so who is Stevie away from the music then?
Who is he?
Yep. What are you into or what?
I actually don't do that much, believe it or not now.
No.
Used to be into fishing. Would
Yeah.
you believe that? I was in that for a few years. But
I went fishing once and it was the most boringest 12 hours I've ever had in my life.
now you needed a carry out, that was the problem.
That's probably what it was.
No, but two big grandkids now, so
Yeah.
They keep you busy.
I'm sure if I'm sick.
But I don't really do that much, to be honest with you. No, I mean, between the working in the post office and then, I'm in the wee 60 scooters now.
Yeah.
Oh, aye.
Like mod
We've
sort of tip.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, aye. That's it. I've had a scooter in my garage from I was 16.
Same one then?
No. All different
Oh,
ones.
you've always had one?
Always had one, aye.
And do you,
Two at the minute. And neat, older than me. Older than me, so they are.
do you go out on them? Because I
aye.
see are you in one of the groups where
I'm
they
in a
all...
club in Carrick.
Yeah. We are the mods. We are the mods.
A2S is scooter club. We are the mods.
I seen that film that was not that long ago. My mum bought me it, and she was like, "No, for Christmas." It must have been ages ago. Then I haven't seen it, but it put me off. I was like, "I'm not into that darn music." But then I just watched it one day, and I was like, "Fuck, it's class, absolutely class." Mods versus rockers.
Oh, aye. It's good to get out in a scooter.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? Or?
Nothing really to think of, chum.
Once you leave here, you'll be.
I
for
should
fuck's
have
sake.
told him that. Should have told him that. I don't think I've any more gigs to tell you. Let me see if there's anything else. No, I think that was them all.
Where do people find you? Just on Facebook and stuff?
On Facebook, yep. I don't do Instagram.
Mm.
Don't do any other. I do Facebook, and that's about it.
I just sort of mastered Facebook, and then all these other ones came along, and flipping TikToks, Instagrams, Twitters, and I just don't understand them.
I'll give them a bye, Paul.
I don't understand it at all. Facebook will do. That's for us old
Yep,
people.
lots of fogies.
I do. If you've got a Facebook page, you can check your analytics for see the people that interact on your page, and mine's all like, I think 40% of them's men aged between 35 and 45.
I say nothing on that subject.
18 to 25-year-olds, I think it's only like 3%, so I need some.
must be your content.
Oh, Jesus, we'll leave it there. Thanks for coming in, Stevie. It's been great talking to you and hearing about your story. We'll probably have you in again after you do all your gigs, see how they went and stuff.
Yep.
Happy days. Right, thanks for coming down. Cheers.
Thanks very much.
See you there.